Hello everyone. It's Shy Seedling back again for the art process number 2 for this red demon. I want to make this video because I made the previous process video, which is also being posted at the same time for the Kitsune and the Shunobon. And I really like this speed paint. I really like this this painting in general, and I painted it for my sister. So I kind of want to talk about my thought process going in. This one's going to be a little bit more Clip Studio rooted than the other one. The other one was more talking about my experience with making it. And I'll talk about my experience making this one too, but it'll be probably a little bit more Clip Studio focused. So starting off with the Clip Studio paint sketch, I actually started this on my phone in Clip Studio Paint on the mobile app, and sister was actually doing my nails for me. She's a nail tech. She was doing my nails for me, and I was drawing this at the same time, and I actually really liked the vibe and the perspective and kind of like the little shirt thing that she was wearing, and I wanted to explore that some more. And then I realized that my sister might like it for branding for her t-shirt business that she also wants to start. So I'm giving this design to her, but initially I started with, I believe, a charcoal pencil, or a charcoal pencil in Clip Studio, and then I went over it with, I believe, the soft round brush. And the more that I worked on it, the less it was looking like she was looking at you top down. I wanted her to look like she was looking down on you almost, and she's like this weird chaotic creature thing. And the more that I was trying to flesh it out, the more the eyes looked strange, and I was trying to adjust the face to compensate for the fact that the eyes now look funny, not realizing that the reason why the eyes look weird is because I drew the eye closest to us the wrong way. Like, the perspective for that eye is just incorrect, and you'll see later when I go in with the Clip Studio material for the head, I noticed that the eye is supposed to be less from the front, obviously more in like a 3/4 on the side. And after I fixed that, completely different. The trippy aspect with the background was actually an afterthought. I thought that because her outfit was black and white, I liked the idea of her sinking into the canvas, and then I was like, ooh, I can make her irises, because her irises were always already going to be some sort of like target practice type vibe stripes, and so I wanted that to kind of blend with her outfit and then the background, and so I ended up making the background checkered, and then her shirts bleed into the black and white parts, and it was supposed to look very trippy. Just like I wanted it to be acid trippy. And as I was doing the colors, after I did the lines, I wanted her eyes to be all glowy and acid trippy colors like purple and green and yellow, all of those mixed together, but I scrapped that idea entirely. So yeah, the line art is actually quite nice. I really liked the way that I did the hair initially. I did not like the way that I did the bangs, so I actually ended up looking up references for how people draw bangs, and realized that I was approaching it wrong. The rest of the hair I draw the same way I drew the bangs, but for some reason I just didn't understand it. So the bangs actually look pretty good. They're not really in perspective either, which is sad. The lines, I used the real G pen, not the G pen. I like the real G pen because it's textured. It kind of bites you in the butt in terms of printing onto paper, but you know, for this illustration, since it's just going to be on a t-shirt, doesn't really make a difference. It's going to be kind of like grainy-ish almost anyway. So I'm using the real G pen for the lines. They're really textured but also smooth, and I wanted them to be clear as always. But I was struggling with the eyelashes. The eye that's farthest away from us is perfect. It looks great. I liked how bushy those eyelashes looked, and it looked pretty cohesive, and I just like the way that eye looked in general. But the other eye that's closest to us, I was having such a hard time with the lines, with the perspective, and the mouth even. Like, it just wasn't giving anymore. The more that I rendered it, the more I hated it, if that makes sense. And I'm sure other people can understand the sentiment. But I'll let the speed paint go a little bit longer before I talk about the next bit of the process when I scrap everything and start all over. So here's where, after I did the flats for the original one, I was like, dude, I don't like this anymore. So I was like, let me just restart. And this time I was using G Pen for the smoother lines, just so that I can really understand the shapes that I'm working with. And it was happening again. I saw the face and it was happening again. I liked the mouth. The mouth was good. I've been getting a little bit better with drawing smiling expressions, and I like the way her mouth looks. Her nose looks really cute. Her ears look awesome, actually, and I really like the stretched ears that I gave her. I used to have earrings that looked like that when I was a smaller size. So all of that was looking good, but the eyes were still giving me problems, man. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to use the Clip Studio material, and I grabbed the head, and I just want to quickly say, because even though I was drawing for my sibling, even though I was drawing for her, I was watching a video the other day that was talking about who are you, like what mindset you have when you're going in to draw. And my mindset is always like, I want it to look polished and good no matter what. But I should be focusing more on like drawing for me and drawing for progress. And just because, you know, the sketch is ugly, as long as I'm learning something, it doesn't really matter what it comes out to. And I should be okay with posting art that's kind of like mid, you know, because it's always a valuable learning process, and I can at least tell people what I learned as I'm doing it. So I used the head. I noticed why the eye was wrong, fixed it, and it immediately changed. Not only that, but before I even used the head material, I changed the way that the head shape looked, and I really wanted to make sure that the cheeks was indicating that she was smiling. And the head shape, I think, looks amazing. The mouth is stylized and it's a little big, but I don't really mind that. I think you can break the rules somewhat when you're kind of familiar with them, as all artists say. So the eyes, fixed it, amazing. After that, I figured out where the neck needs to go. I was using the material from Clip Studio Paint to kind of gauge where the neck should be, and then took that into account and drew the neck. So I did that, and as for the lines for the hair, I was gonna go with the original hair design, but I wanted it to be dynamic. As I was going through it though, I really just didn't like the vibe anymore. It wasn't really giving, and it wasn't really matching her expression. So I was like, forget it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do something else. So I started off, I was looking for like mullet designs because I thought maybe like doing a mullet for her would look nice. And as I was doing the bangs, I realized that I kind of like the look of like a long wavy curly hair on her. And so I explored that idea. And at the same time, I was like, that doesn't really fit her either. So then I tried bangs, or I tried braids. That didn't really work out. I tried giving her puffs. That didn't really work out. None of it was really fitting her. And then I started drawing this ponytail, and I liked the way I drew the ponytail. And after I drew the bangs with a little tendril off to the side hanging off her shoulder, I was like, ooh, I really like that vibe. I really like the way that looks. That's very compositionally nice. So I wasn't sure which one to pick. So I put down like basic flats on gray paper so that we can really see what we're working with. And I showed my sibling. I was like, hey, I have 2 different hairstyles that I want you to look at. Tell me what you think is better. I still wanted to keep the hair blue, but I decided that instead of having green skin, she'll have red, and I liked that idea a lot better. So she chose the ponytail. I was like, okay, cool. My mom saw it, and you'll see very briefly that there's like a little afro, and my mom was like, well, she seems like she would have a fro, and I tried it, and I was like, I hate this. So ponytail it was, and happy accident, actually, on the lines layer, that's where I colored her little like shirt thing that she's wearing. And when I put the gradient in there, I kind of wanted to gradiate the hair. But at that time, I believe I merged the hair and the lines together. So happy accident, when I put the gradient in for the hair that I wanted for it to kind of like fade into a really pretty like trippy color, it was actually on the lines layer for, I think it was on the lines layer for everything, and then I just erased it on like her face and all of that and kept it for the hairlines and her like little shirt thing. And I really liked the way that looked. I thought that was actually really pretty. So I then edited the background with the squares to kind of incorporate the ombre that was happening from top to bottom. So it all like pulled itself together, and I think aesthetically the way that I shaded it wasn't too extreme, and it'll show up really nicely on a t-shirt whenever she decides to print it. So that was cool. Additionally, when I was going for the eyes, I wanted to do the trippy stuff before, but because she's kind of like a red demon now, I was like, well, I think I like the idea of having her eyes, the whites of her eyes blacked out, and then just have red eyes to match. And I really liked the way that looked. I liked that all of the red was focused on her, and then everything else was bright and colorful, and then the background was black and white and all of that stuff. I think overall it really came out for the gradient. I believe I just used it on a normal layer. As for the shading, I just went a layer above and did a multiply layer with a slightly darker, more saturated red, and then went in with the blending tool. Actually, I've been using the blending tool on Clip Studio Paint a lot. What I'll do is either use the flat round brush, or I'll use the Milli pen and kind of fade out the lines on the edges, and it looks really, really nice. So I was playing with that. I really liked the way that looked. And then I used another layer on top of that, and I think set it to overlay or color dodge, I can't remember which one, to get really bright cheeks. Really liked that. I wanted her eyes to glow. That didn't really work out very well, so I kind of ditched that, but I gave her a couple of like highlights. I didn't want it to go too crazy because honestly on a t-shirt you're not going to be able to see all of that. So I just wanted to make it as obvious as possible that the light is coming from beneath her, and she's kind of like coming into you in this weird trippy way, and she's looking down on you, and she thinks she's better than you and all this stuff. So that's kind of the idea that I wanted to go with. And that's it. This one was a lot more talky than the other ones, or the other one that I made for the Kitsune and the Goth. This one was a lot more speaking to you, mostly because it's a shorter video. I think it's like 12 minutes overall or something like that. Or no, 7 minutes I think is the speed paint. So I just decided that I talk the whole way through, and maybe try something new where I just talk the whole way through and kind of talk about my process a little bit more from the technical clip studio side. So just let me know what you guys prefer in the comments. If you like both, that's totally fine. I could also probably just make a bunch like different kinds and tweak them in different ways each category that I come out with. So like draw with me's, they'll probably look different a lot until I get like consistent consensus about how people want it to look and how I want it to look. Same thing with art process videos. Speed paints will just be speed paints, of course. And then actually no, I think that's it. So yeah, just let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like the video if you liked it. If you didn't, that's fine. Subscribe if you wanna. Not gonna force you. And I will see y'all in the what? Trenches. Bye.